Have you ever felt an unexplainable sense of peace in a dangerous moment? Or maybe you avoided a disaster at the very last second? Some say it's luck. Others call it coincidence. But what if it's something more? What if right now, unseen eyes are watching over you, protecting you, or guiding you? Join us as we dive into the question, are angels really watching over us right now? We're going to explore this mystery and see what we can discover. The Bible describes the angels as powerful, supernatural beings created by God. They serve as messengers, warriors, and protectors. Sometimes they appear in human form. Other times they are completely invisible. In many Eastern religions, angels are believed to be guardians of the natural world, while in Western faiths, they're often seen as spiritual warriors. Despite the comfort that guardian angels bring, many wonder whether these celestial beings truly exist and how they interact with our lives. The concept of angels has been a topic of discussion for centuries, with many people believing in their existence and others debunking it as a mere myth. For those who do believe, the idea of having a personal guardian angel watching over them can be incredibly comforting. But what's the truth behind this phenomenon? Do angels truly exist? Or is it just a figment of our imagination? But here's the big question. Do they still watch over us today? Many people claim to have had personal experiences with angels, from feeling an inexplicable sense of peace in difficult times to receiving mysterious signs and messages. Are these encounters just coincidence? Or is there something more to it? The debate continues to rage on with no clear consensus in sight. Some argue that angels are a product of our collective imagination, while others believe they are very real entities that interact with our world. From the heavenly messengers of ancient Greece to the cherubs of modern Christianity, we'll examine the role angels play in different belief systems. We'll also delve into the personal stories of those who claim to have encountered angels, and discuss the signs that people often interpret as angelic messages. As we uncover the most compelling evidence and personal testimonies, you'll hear about miraculous moments where people felt the undeniable presence of angels in their lives. From near-death experiences to unexplained healings, these stories will challenge your perceptions and leave you wondering, are angels truly watching over us? Now let's look at stories of angelic encounters. The mysterious mechanic. A woman named Catherine was driving alone on a deserted highway when her car suddenly broke down. It was late at night, and there was no signal on her phone. She prayed for help. Out of nowhere, a man in a mechanic's uniform appeared and offered to fix her car. He worked quickly and efficiently, then told her she was good to go. As she turned to thank him, he was gone, vanished into thin air. When she later had her car checked by a mechanic, he said, "Whoever fixed your car knew exactly what they were doing. But some of these repairs, this shouldn't even be possible on the side of the road." So what are you thinking? Feel free to share with us in the comment section. A young boy named Colton Burpo, whose story was later turned into the book Heaven is for Real, had a near-death experience during surgery. When he recovered, he told his parents about seeing bright angels who comforted him and even meeting his sister, who had died before she was born. Something his parents had never told him about. His detailed descriptions of heaven and angelic beings left many people stunned. The stranger who saved a life. A young woman named Lisa was walking home one evening when she noticed a strange man following her. Fear gripped her as she picked up the pace, but suddenly another man appeared beside her. He was tall, strong, and reassuring. He walked with her until she reached her home safely. When she turned to thank him, he was gone. Later, she saw a police report stating that another woman had been attacked in the same area that night. When the suspect was caught, he confessed that he had intended to harm Lisa, but didn't because of the huge man walking beside her. Meet Sarah. Her father was in the hospital, fighting for his life. She was exhausted, praying desperately for a miracle. One evening, the kind nurse appeared. She spoke comforting words, reminding Sarah to trust and not lose hope. The next day, when her dad completely recovered, Sarah searched for the nurse to thank her. But here's the twist. No one at the hospital knew who she was. There was no record of any nurse matching that description, and despite that, hospital cameras had no records of that nurse entering Sarah's room. Was it just a dream? Or was it an angel in disguise? Then there's Michael. He was driving late at night when his car skidded on ice. He braced for impact, certain he was about to crash. But somehow his car stopped inches from disaster. Later, a witness claimed he saw a figure of a man dressed in white next to his car in that split second, and later disappeared. The angel who stopped a bullet. A missionary named John Peyton was serving in the South Pacific when hostile warriors surrounded his home, ready to burn it down. John and his wife prayed fervently all night for protection. As dawn approached, the warriors suddenly fled. A year later, the chief of that tribe converted to Christianity. When John asked him why they had not attacked that night, the chief replied, "Who were those huge, shining men surrounding your house?" Neither John nor his wife had seen anyone, but the attackers had. And finally, the 9th November stairwell angel. During the tragic events of September 11, 2001, a group of survivors were struggling to descend the smoke-filled stairwells of the World Trade Center. Panic and fear gripped them as the building shook. Suddenly, a tall man in a white robe with a calm presence appeared and began guiding them down the stairs. He reassured them, telling them they would make it. When they finally reached safety, they turned to thank him, but he was nowhere to be found. No one else remembered seeing him, but the survivors insisted he was there, leading them out of danger. So, what does the Bible say about the angels? Psalm 91:11 tells us, "For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways." This promise reminds us that we are never alone, as unseen heavenly forces are always at work. However, Jesus' response to Satan's misuse of this verse teaches that God's protection is not an excuse for reckless living, and a call to trust in his care with wisdom. Ultimately, this verse encourages faith in God's presence, and the assurance that his angels are watching over those who walk in his ways. Hebrews 1:14 says, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" This verse explains the role of angels as servants of God, assigned to help and protect believers. It highlights that angels are spiritual beings with a divine mission, to assist those who follow Christ and inherit salvation. Rather than act on their own, they operate under God's command, carrying out his will to guide, protect, and support his people. This verse reassures believers that they are never alone, as God's angels are actively working for their good. And perhaps one of the most striking verses, Matthew 18:10. Jesus himself says, "See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven." According to these scriptures, angels are actively involved in our lives. They protect, they guide, and they deliver messages from God. So, how do we know angels are with us? Maybe you're wondering, how can I know if angels are watching over me? Here are a few signs many people have reported. A sudden sense of peace in the middle of chaos, as if someone whispered, "It's going to be okay." Unexplained protection from danger. Times when you should have been hurt, but you weren't. Encounters with strangers who seem to appear at the perfect moment, offering wisdom, comfort, or help, only to vanish without a trace. Unusual dreams or visions, messages that feel too real to be imagination. But of course, we must be careful. Not every feeling or coincidence is a direct angelic encounter. But if you've experienced moments like these, you might not have been alone after all. So here is the question. Can we call on angels? Some people wonder, can we pray to angels? The Bible teaches that while angels are powerful, they are not meant to be worshipped. Instead, we pray to God, and he commands his angels as he wills. So if you need protection, guidance, or comfort, pray to God. And trust that if he chooses, he may send his angels to help. So are angels watching over you right now? We may not always see them, but the Bible suggests that God's protection surrounds those who trust in him. Maybe you've already experienced their presence. Maybe one day you will. One thing is certain, whether through angels, miracles, or his own hand, God is always working for your good. If this message encouraged you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. And remember, you are never alone.